Second part of Python tutorial videos. Let's get started with our first Python program. So you have to go to your start, type Python, and you have to open the software, and you can pin it to your taskbar so that you can open it with ease the next time. So now in a program, we require what we call as values. The values can be anything. It's like my name is a value, my age is a value, my weight is a value, my height is a value, everything is a value. But these values have to be classified into certain types. These types are called as data types. In any programming language, one of the basic data types are integer, float, and character. So an integer is a whole number. It can have a plus or minus sign. So minus 55 is a whole number. 55 is a whole number, 0 is a whole number. These are all integer data types. So an integer data type only has a number, whereas a floating point data type will have a dot followed by many other digits. So this is a floating point number. So now this is not a whole number. It has a fractional part which is represented by this. As another data type called as character. In Python language, we don't have just a character data type. Any uh, value will be treated as a string. That is, any alphabets, names, everything will be treated as a string. And those who have used C and C++ know that a string is a set of characters, which is represented using double quotes. But in Python, you can even represent it using single quotes. So if I give like this. So now this is a string value. It has 7 characters. The value stands for Kishore, which is my name. So now the thing in which we are working on, what is this? This is called as a Python shell or a Python interpreter. So what it does is it takes the value which succeeds these three marks. This is called as a prompt in Python ideally. So it takes the value of something which succeeds this prompt and it returns it in the screen. So this is what an interpreter does. So now these are all the basic data types. We have another special data type called as complex data type. A complex number is what is falls under this complex data type. So let's take an example: 4 plus 3j. So now this is a complex number. If I type it here, I get 4 plus 3j, which is a complex data type number. So now 4 minus 3j, even this is possible. So it can be anything. We have a real part and an imaginary part. So these are all the basic data types in Python programming language. So now we have to operate with these values. So for that we require what we call as operators. So let's see the operators belonging to the integer data type. These are the arithmetic operations, which is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So now 55 plus 2. This is addition operation. So I get 57. 55 minus 2. This is subtraction. 55 55 into 3. This is multiplication. Now here comes the trick part. 55 divided by 3. I get a floating point number as a result. So in Python, there's nothing like if I have two integers and an operand, the return value should only be an integer. For that we have special operators like 55 divided by 3 gives this value. Now if I need an integer as a result, I have to use a special division which is called as float division or integer division. So if I press enter, I get an integer as a result. Now for exponential operators, in usual languages we use this caret operator, but in Python it's 5 square. This means 5 square. So 5 square is 25. So 5 to the power of 3 is 125. So this is exponential operator in Python language. And let's try this with floating point values. So 55.32 plus 2. Now the thing is, if the operand, if the operator is a plus and one of the operand is a float, the other operand can either be a float or an integer. So now if I press enter, I get 55.23. Sorry, 57.23. 55.23 plus 2.0 also returns the same value. This is just you can anyone can easily understand what I am trying to say. So now 55 minus 33. Sorry, 55.77 minus 33, or can be 50.0 added to this. So this is subtraction, multiplication, exponentiation, this is division. We can even use float division with a floating point. We can even perform float division with a floating point number. But the resulting value will be a whole number, but it is belongs to a floating point data type. So now, as you can see, we perform these operations with integer and float data type. We can even perform them with complex data type. So now 4 plus 3j plus 8 minus 2j, sorry, plus 8 minus 2j. So this is addition. This is multiplication. We can even perform division, exponentiation with imaginary numbers. Let's try them out. 4 minus 4j. You can see the result. So now, one of the special features of Python is we can even perform operations with string or character data type. So now let's see. Sure. Plus. So now when one of the operands is a string and we use the operator plus, now the functionality of the operator plus changes. Now it is like in C++ we have a concept called as operator overloading. So now this performs that function. So now this is an overloaded operator. So now plus has a whole different meaning. Now you don't have to worry much about that. So now what this performs is string concatenation. So now let's try out this. Sure. So now what we'll get is an error. So if one of the operands is a string and the operator is a plus or addition, the other operand should also be a string. So we even have another operation. So if anyone can guess this, what this returns is the character Kishore plays thrice. Now it will appear thrice, one after the other. We can even perform this. So as you can see, if I add Kumar with Kishore, this Kishore Kumar appears without any blank character in between them. Now if I give it like this, I have manually attached the blank character in between these two. You can see this is treated as a whole string. Now this entire value is a string. So now these are the operators and operations using the basic data types. So let's move on to the input and output operations. Before moving on to input and output operations, let us see about two concepts. So the first concept is something like it's called as type conversion. So if let's say I have a value 55, which is an integer constant. Now I want to convert this to a floating point constant, so I'll do it. I'll give it like float of 55. So you can see the difference between this and this. This is an integer while this is a float. So now how can I do the vice versa? Like I have a floating point constant. Oh, I want to convert it to an integer. So I'll give it like this. can see this is a floating point constant which got converted to an integer. So it will be rounded off to the lowest value in the range in which this value lies. That is like it lies between 55 and 56. So now it got converted to 55. Now if I want to convert it to let's say 55.99, even this gets converted to 55, but now it's closer to 56. So what I have to do is around, I'll get 56. Now this is not only for integer conversion. Round can be used even for rounding a large floating point which has 4 decimal digits to a floating point which has 2 decimal digits. Like I will give it like around 55 point comma 2. So now this is rounded off to 2 decimal digits. So now this is the function of a round function. So now I can even convert an integer or float to a string value. So it's given like this. It got converted to a string. As you can see, it is enclosed within quotes. So now this is a floating byte which got converted to a string value. Now if I have something like this, sorry. Now this is a string. Now what if I want to convert it to an integer or a floating byte value? So I'll get like this. Actually, we'll get an error. I guess we'll get an error here. Yeah, we can get an error here. Now what I have to give is like, first I have to convert it to a floating point value. So this floating point value can be converted to an int. So it's like given like this. You can see like this. So I have, it's like a recursive function, a function inside a function. Now you can even convert a complex constant to an string value. So str of, you can see the string value which is returned here. Now, we cannot convert anything to a complex constant. So now this is type conversion. So now we have only been working with the value, but anyone who has worked with a programming language previously will know that every programming language, every program requires what is we call as a variable. So what is a variable? It's like it is a block of memory inside your computer which has been allocated to store a specific value. In C and C++, we each variable is associated with a specific data type. Now, let's say I want to create a variable for storing integer values. I have to get like int x is equal to 23. Now, if I try this in Python, I'll get an error. So now what do we actually do? I just wait like this. X is equal to 23. So now if I want to see the value of x, I get x is equal to 23. So now currently x is integer variable. So now it's like x is equal to 23.2. Now if I see x is floating point constant. So now I don't even have to specify the data type of the variable. It'll just know what data type the value will belongs to, and the variable will modify itself to save that particular data type. So this is the advantage of Python. I don't even have to worry about the data types of a variable. So now x is equal to, yeah, tada, x can even store a string inside it. So this is something which is new to anyone who has not worked in Python language. That is like if they only worked with C and C++, this will be a bit strange and weird to them. But this is the advantage of Python. So now this is a variable. So now let's say I have to get an input from the user and I have to store it in the variable. I use input and output operations. So let's say I have to get my name from the user and store it in x. I'll get like x is equal to input of something. Now what this code means is, now we'll get back to it later. Now what we have to do is, if I press enter, The computer asks the user to enter a value. Now I'll give 23. If I display the value of x, now it is 23 within quotes. So now any value we give to the input function will be treated as a string. So now if I have to convert it into a integer constant, I have to use type conversion. X is equal to int of x. So now the left hand side value gets the right hand side value stored inside it. So now if I have the value, currently the value in x is 23 within quotes. Now I have converted this to an integer. Now I am overwriting the value in x. So I'll press enter and I will display the value. So now this is 23. So you can even do this in a single function, like in a single statement. X is equal to int of input of package. So if I give 76 here, I'll get the value 76 inside x. Yeah, 76 is stored inside x. Now, as you can see, we can only get a string value from the input function, and that's why we use type conversions to convert it to decide data type. Now, I have to display the value inside a variable to the user. In Python interpreter, I can just give it like this, but I want to let's say I typed all these things in a program and I have saved it in my computer. Let's see what that is. Now, in the program, if I type like this and save it, now the value 76 won't be displayed while the program is running. Will mostly get an error. So for that we have to use an output function. Now it's called as print in Python. So if I type print x, the value of x gets printed. So now if I type print str of x, this, oh sorry, the thing about print function in Python is if I type print, sorry, if I type like this, now this is a string, but if I display it using print statement, these codes won't appear here. So now this was a string. This was printed as a string. So now this is the input and output functions. Now we forgot something. What that was like? What is this codes in this input statement? Oh, let's store the value in the variable x. So now any message I type within this codes will be displayed here and I will be asked to enter the value. So I will type the sure. Now print x. I get Kishore printed here. So this is the input and output function of Python, and we have seen about type conversions and the data types in this video. So we'll see a small video after this where we summarize the concepts we learned in this video. So thank you.